Hey guys, it's Gary. I had a great idea for a video, something that needs to be updated on the channel. The PHEV. I don't drive the PHEV anymore. My wife does. But this car is almost 3 years old. And I haven't taken it out and tested it in at least a year and a half. So it's winter, it's cold today, it's fully charged. Let's take it for a drive. I'll give you guys all the updates on the specs, how many kilometers are on it, etc. And let's just see how far Gary can go babying the car at almost 3 years old. I have no clue because my wife drives this thing now, and she doesn't drive it like we did, guys. She pedal to the metal. She runs out of electricity all the time. She doesn't worry about charging it at work. She doesn't follow any of the rules. Let's find out if she's wrecked the PHEV. And honey, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but the PHEV just misses Gary. I babied this thing. I took such good care of this girl. Well, maybe I didn't clean it as much as I should have, but... All right, let's find out how many kilometers are on here, and let's hook up our Watchdog app and see what it's showing for battery status. Oh, look at that. She's got the heat on it and everything. How are you gonna get good electric mileage with the heat on? Oh, hey, there's our possibly icy roads. I haven't seen that in 2 years. 46,532 kilometers, guys. That's not as many as I thought would be on there. And to be honest with you, I bet you out of that 46,000 kilometers, I bet you 35,000 or more is on electric. I would be very surprised if this motor had 10,000 kilometers on it. For most of our in-town running around here, this car will do it. And that's why we bought this thing. It's, the electric is just fantastic. Especially the prices in Ontario with this whole, it's the only good thing that's come out of COVID, right? 8.5 cents a kilowatt hour in Ontario. So if you're driving an electric, you gotta love that. Okay, there's our battery screen. And we're actually showing 35.1 amp hours, 87.7% battery right now, which is not a great thing. We should be still able to get this up to 100. This is full charge. I just unplugged the car as I got in it here. So after 3 years, and I took the car in this fall and had them do the battery operation on it at the dealership. So if we look at the card screen here on the Watchdog app, I can show you this yellow one down here shows that in November, I brought the car in and we had the battery service done. DB cam performed, it says here. And even then, so we were at 34.9 amp hours. We gained 0.2 amp hours, essentially. But we're still only at 87.3% capacity. And that concerns me. I know before they were doing complete resets on the battery. This DB cam, and all they do is they drain the battery and then they refill it and whatever this DB procedure is. Before they were doing more, and it would actually reset the battery and you would be back up to 100%. Dealers are not doing that anymore. I've reset the tripometer, and let's just go and see how far we can go on an electric charge on an almost 3-year-old PHEV. Oh, we're gonna baby it. We are gonna try maximum effort. As you guys know, my record was 60 kilometers. In the winter with snow tires on and probably minus 10 degrees Celsius, minus 12 degrees, something like that, we'll never hit 60 kilometers. We won't even hit 50 kilometers. But I would like to get at least 40 kilometers. If we could still get 40 kilometers, I will, I'll be ecstatic with that, because really you can't ask for more than that. I would be happy with a 3-year-old PHEV that still gets 40 kilometers. Okay, so we're gonna use B0 coasting mode and coast as much as we can. I'm gonna try to run around 50 kilometers an hour, and I'll just show you guys, we've got snow-covered Northern Ontario roads. They were freshly plowed this morning because we had a new dumping of snow. So again, that's going to affect our mileage as well. And as always, Gary is not going to use the heat. Okay? I should have brought gloves. I didn't. And the steering wheel is cold. The steering wheel in my new truck is heated, so my mistake, my bad. I have not been following the electric car scene probably in the last year and a half. As you guys know, if you follow the channel, I bought myself a new truck. I have a four-wheeler, a snow machine. I do a lot of hunting and camping and fishing, and I've needed a truck for a long time. And I was waiting for the new electric trucks, which were supposed to come out by Ford this year. And because of COVID, all of that got stomped on and everything pushed to, I don't know when, you know, probably 2025, who knows. But I just said, realistically, I need a truck. I could use a truck, and I'm gonna try to get 5 years out of the truck that I bought. I bought it actually with a plan made with my father, who refuses to buy a new vehicle. So the plan is, and the deal is that we've made, I'm going to drive the truck for 4 or 5 years, then he's going to buy it off of me, and I'm going to get an electric truck at that point. So I actually messed up there. I just started the Watchdog app recording live data 3 kilometers into our trip. So I missed the beginning because I was showing you guys the cards on there and I forgot to click record. So we'll take that into account. Oh, and I do have that feeling of, hey, there's some ass on my rear end trying to push me along. I hate that. We're actually doing 70 kilometers right now in a 60 kilometer zone, and constantly somebody right on your rear end. I can't say I missed that from driving this vehicle. So I'm really interested to see how far are we going to go. It's actually showing -7 degrees Celsius right now, so it's actually warmed up this afternoon. Are we going to hit 40 kilometers? I don't know. Whew, I almost forgot to use my braking paddles here to slow me down. It's been so long since I drove the PHEV. And of course, we're starting to fog up. If you're not using the heat, you gotta crack the windows just a little bit on each side. So if you're not a real Northern Ontario cold warrior, this might not be the best technique for you. My wife cranks the heat, cranks the electric seat, and doesn't care about electric miles. And I assume that most people, that's how they are. They don't really care, right? If you get 20 free kilometers, you get 20 free kilometers. I'm not like that. If I can stretch it and suffer a little bit and get 45, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm recording this video on my GoPro 7, and it's actually cold enough in here that the GoPro keeps freezing. For some reason, if you shoot videos in 4K and you're in anything like around 0 degrees or worse, the GoPro doesn't work properly. So I have to keep pulling the battery and restarting. So when you get in the PHEV, it always gives you a guesstimate of how far you're gonna go on electric. And surprisingly, considering that my wife doesn't drive this anyway remotely economically, when we got in, it was saying 35 kilometers worth of battery. So that tells me that if I baby this, we should be able to beat 35 kilometers. I could be wrong, but usually, I mean, my economic driving style here should be better than the way my wife's been driving. That's my theory, guys. I'm saying we're gonna get the 40 kilometers. I think we're gonna get 40 kilometers. I'm being optimistic and positive. We're gonna get 40 kilometers. So she did ask me to fill up the tank the other day in this car, and she had 800 and some kilometers on here. I'm not sure. $30 some is what I put in the tank. Guys, I start my truck in the morning and I just look at the truck and I gotta put 30 bucks in it. It's that bad. Actually, it's not that bad. I'm averaging just over 12 liters per 100 kilometers in the Dodge, which has a V6 in it. And in the summer, I was getting 9 point something liters per 100 kilometers. So for a truck, it's really not bad. It does not compare in any way, shape, or form to the PHEV, where I would go literally 4.5, 5 months and put in, you know, $50 in gas in this thing. And I'll easily put in 75 bucks a week in the truck. All right, now we're on the back roads here. Little worse conditions, a little more snow out here, but I don't have people right on my butt, so we can actually do the speed limit and I don't feel so bad out here. This was not a well thought out plan. My hands are freezing. Today is Saturday, in case you guys are wondering. And I actually woke up this morning, I was so excited. I told my wife, you know what today is? Super Bowl Sunday! And I was all stoked because I had something to watch, something to look forward to. Tom and I were gonna watch the game. And then I realized it's only Saturday. So this was plan B. Come up with a new idea for a video today. I literally had to pull the battery again. That's the third time. I think I got a dud for a GoPro. It doesn't like life in Northern Ontario, and that's terrible because I live in Northern Ontario. Also, had I thought this through, I would have brought a camera with me because it's actually beautiful out here in the fresh fallen snow from last night. The sun is coming out, just peeking out this afternoon for a little visit, and we're out in the country. There's beautiful farmland and farms out here. There's a good chance we'll see some wildlife, some deer and stuff. So I really didn't think this plan through, guys, so I'm gonna have to entertain myself by entertaining you. 18 kilometers into our trip, and we're like half battery. I don't know. Are we gonna get to 40? I don't know. I really forgot how long it takes to drain this battery. Now, we're also not driving in town, stop and go. I basically went down the highway for the first 10 kilometers, a secondary highway, so we went slow, between 60 and 70 kilometers an hour, and then now we're out on a back road in the country, but there's no stopping, so there's no slowing down either. We're not getting any regen out of this, really. We're just coasting along in B0. We're gonna turn back around, and I know there's a little town 10 kilometers from here. We're gonna go do a few laps through that little town, get some stop and go here. So we'll have a bit of every kind of driving. Backcountry, highway, and in town on this test. See if we can hit 40 kilometers. And I do see a truck coming up behind me real quick, so I'm gonna just kind of let him go by me. I'll slow down and let him go by. He had a snow machine on the back, so I can appreciate that guy's going somewhere fun, so we'll let him go. Everybody else, screw you, you're stuck behind me. So we have just done over 12 kilometers on this back road. There's loose snow, there's ice, not pavement. So all of these things are affecting this test a little bit. I'm trying to give a real world test as well, right? After 3 years, how far does the car go in a real world driving situation, minus the fact that Gary's not using the heat, okay? Just forget that fact, okay? Some people like to drive with no heat. Look at that light right there, that is gorgeous. If I had my camera, I would have stopped and took a picture. There it is, life in Northern Ontario. Everybody out blowing their driveways. Now I'll also mention, we have not had a single issue with this car in 3 years. I have not had a light on the dash. I have not had any bulbs burn out, nothing. This car is fantastic. And I'll tell you right now, driving in it, the suspension, I'm used to the really sturdy, rough suspension of the truck now. This is actually pretty smooth. These roads we're driving on right now are not well-maintained roads. These are Northern Ontario pothole filled. Would Gary ever buy another Mitsubishi PHEV? Probably not. This car has been really good, and we are keeping this car for the full long haul run. It is going to end up in a car graveyard in 15 years from now, hopefully, and I'm not getting rid of this car. My daughter is getting this car, is what's going to happen. My wife does not like this car. I don't know why. She doesn't, she always liked the little Subarus that we had, and I think this car feels big to her. You know, she said it's not as easy to drive. I don't know what she means by that. I think it's because it's a little bigger. It doesn't turn. It's not like an Impreza. You know, she drove an Impreza for 8 years, and then she had a Crosstrek for 6.5 years after that. Quite a bit smaller vehicles. I drive the big tank of a truck now, and when I get in this thing feels like a sports car to me now. It's all relative to what you're driving, right? If you drive a big Dodge 1500, this thing is going to feel like a sports car. Okay, it's showing 7 kilometers left on the gasometer, and we've come almost 30 kilometers. It's like a full-on blizzard out there now. Yeah, I got the whole string of cars behind me as well. In a blizzard, and we're doing over the speed limit, which is 60 here. And I got 4 or 5 cars right behind me lined up, ready to go, trying to pass me. Okay, so here we are in town, and we're gonna do the last 7 kilometers. Stop and go through this little town. Maybe see if we can even stretch that 7 kilometers into 8 or 9. See, look at that. Speed limit of 40. Now we're talking 40. We can do that. We'll have 15 cars behind us, but we can do that. Check out all the ice huts out there on the lake. That's another staple of Northern Ontario right there, ice fishing. Only in Canada, eh? All right, gasometer is showing no kilometers left, but the engine hasn't started yet. All right, the engine just kicked on. I'll show you guys eco information. 100% driving an EV, 17.9 kilowatt hour average, and we didn't use any fuel because the engine wasn't running. So there, you can see it just dropped. How far did we get? Oh, look at that! 39.9 kilometers. That is close enough, guys. I'm gonna call that 40 kilometers. I'm really impressed, actually. Really impressed. So here's our last trip, and as I told you guys, it's showing 37 kilometers, but we missed the first 3 kilometers of the trip. So this is the right trip, and I'll just show you guys. Our high was 76 kilometers, and it's saying that our average was 40, which seems a little low to me, but took us 54 minutes to do the trip. Okay, I'm gonna turn the heat on. My hands and feet are literally frozen. I forgot how torturous these tests were for you guys, but I'm awesome. I'm ecstatic that I did it though, because to see that the car is holding up, really, this is as good as I could have hoped for. like I say, if we had our regular tires on here and we weren't driving in these winter conditions, guys, we would have just hit 50 kilometers in a 3-year-old PHEV. And there was a really good mix here, a third of highway driving, a third of back road country driving, and a third of in-town stop and go driving. So this is about as realistic as I could make this test. PHEV for the win, guys. I don't have anything else to say. I'm super impressed with today's run. In fact, I'm so impressed that this summer, you know, 6 months from now, we'll borrow the car from my wife again, and we'll do a summer test and see how well the car does then. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next adventure. Some of you guys will notice that I actually trimmed the beard for this video, and that's because I actually like my PHEV followers. That was just for you guys.